105.5 WDHA, Jim Monahan here on the Jersey Magazine. It's early December, but we're going to talk some baseball. And my guest is Brian Casey. Brian is synonymous with baseball in Paramus and Bergen County, and a couple of things that we're going to talk about this morning. Brian, first of all, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Jim. Always a pleasure speaking with an old friend.
So we had a couple of things happen. Well, it was simultaneously just a few days ago in Paramus related to the holiday season with Toys for Tots and Paramus Junior Baseball. Tell our listeners what happened.
Yeah, about 10 days ago or so, just before Thanksgiving, we had an unfortunate event occurred at our Little League Fieldhouse, the PJBL Al Dashler Fieldhouse. Early morning fire. Nothing dramatic, meaning no flames shooting out of the ceilings or anything, but it was a smoke and heat fire. It basically destroyed everything within the building. It was a cinder block type of building, held the heat really well, but a lot of memorabilia, a lot of trophies and banners and pictures that can't be replaced, unfortunately, are gone, along with, probably the most unfortunate part, along with a number of toys, approximately 400 toys that were being held in the field house for the Toys for Tots drive.
Now, this is the annual Toys for Tots drive that Brenda Brundage has been running for nearly 2 decades in Paramus. And, when I saw this, and our listeners probably saw some of the news coverage, I know Channel 4 had it, Channel 11 had it. I mean, for this to happen, everything was wiped out, all of the donations, which just had to be numbing at this time of year for everybody involved, Brian.
You're correct. Brenda, who has, like you said, run this drive for a number of years. It's a task that she loves to take on, and it's been a labor of love for her. And yes, it was quite devastating to have the our entire stock of toys, wiped out in an instant. But, like a lot of communities around, we're a strong community. And I know the outpouring of people wanting to help has been, quite substantial over the last 10 days or so.
And one of my favorite places in Paramus, the Orange Lantern, better known as the OL, is pitching in as well. And they are accepting donations through Friday, December 10th. And I know that they've received a ton of donations already. The OL Orange Lantern on Firehouse Lane in Paramus. It's just off Route 17. In fact, Brian, I'm almost positive DHA has done a couple of Toys for Tots drives there in the past. We've done some personal appearances up there. That's always a great place, great burgers, good cold beer. It's one of my favorite places to hang out in the Bergen County, Paramus area.
It certainly is. We were discussing that the other night. We lost our field house to a smoke fire, but for a lot of reasons, the OL has become our second PJBL field house. And many a times we met there with lineups in the back of a paper napkin there at the bar. So the Orange Lantern is a community fixture. They always help out whatever they can. They're very embedded in the community. So like you said, a great spot to pick right there on Route 17 North to help us out with the Toys for Tots.
And we were talking before we came on the air. I'm almost positive that the first time you and I met, and you and I go back at least 20 years, I believe it was outside the Paramus Baseball Fieldhouse up on Midland Avenue, right next to the school there, for a PBI clinic, which was run by another longtime Paramus resident, Doug Sinella, from Professional Baseball Instruction. I think that's how far back you and I go, Brian.
It could be. One of the first things that we did, when at least I got very involved with the Little League, is that we reached out to Doug, knowing he's a Paramus guy, knowing his baseball background, just as a league advisor at first. And over the years, he had the infamous T-shirts. I never forget. We had opening day. I said, Doug, can you help out? He goes, yeah, what do you need? I said, how about 500 T-shirts? Okay. And down came 500 T-shirts with Paramus Junior Baseball on the front and on the back. I remember the quote, "From Paramus for Paramus." And Doug has always been there. He has by far been one of the strongest supporters of our program.
Brian Casey is my guest this morning here on the Jersey Magazine at 105.5 WDHA, a fixture in Paramus, both in the community and Paramus baseball. And again, the Toys for Tots, all of those toys that were lost to the fire a few days ago in Paramus, donations being accepted at the Orange Lantern, better known as the OL, on East Firehouse Lane in Paramus. It's just off Route 17. If you're doing some holiday shopping, they're open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can stop by, and details on orangelantern.com. Brian, I would be remiss if I know you're a big Mets fan. Congratulations on winning the month of November.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, it's nice to have a billionaire owner for a change. So we haven't thrown a pitch yet, but look, it has to be better than the last several years. So
absolutely.
I'm optimistic. I get a kick out of everyone now, saying, yeah, you want to go out and buy a pennant, but yeah, you know what? I want to join the club. I want to go out and buy a pennant.
It's been a while. I mean, they've been in the World Series relatively recently, but it's been a while.
I was looking up some stuff and I was listening to a show tonight, and they were saying the Yankees have had the longest stretch of winning seasons in the history of professional sports at 29. And they're currently at 29 and going. That was in back of their Yankees of the 20s, 30s through the 50s of 39. The Mets have 6, 84 through 89 or something. So yeah, we have a ways to go, but it has been a good last few days of November 1st. You're correct. And I'll have to ask you, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, what are the Red Sox doing?
Well, not a lot yet.
Okay.
Michael Wacha, I guess, is the biggest thing that they've done so far.
Have they won enough in the last 2 decades to kind of rest for the next 80 years or no?
Well, I don't know about resting for the next 80 years, but I'm a big fan of what Chaim Bloom did in Tampa and then what he did this past season. As well as Alex Cora, just an amazing job. But my National League team, it's still the Mets.
Okay.
So I think Scherzer and DeGrom at the top of that rotation. Boy, you got to salivate over that, Brian.
I know. I like Scherzer too. I mean, he was always on the opponent team, the team that I was never rooted for, either the Phillies, the Nationals or something like that. I was there the night he threw the no-hitter, September of 15 at Citi Field, almost at Shea. But what did you do? What did you do in '86, Jim, when the Red Sox and the Mets got together?
That was a tough one. It really was, because I didn't know which team to root for. And as I was thinking back through it, I thought, well, it's been longer for the Red Sox than it has the Mets. I think I'll go with the Red Sox.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all know what happened there.
We all know what happened. And since the Mets haven't won very much since then, I keep going back and replaying that ground ball. So it's eventually I'm going to have to get a new play. But
exactly,
we're watching the end of the playoffs this year, or the playoffs itself, and some of the Red Sox games they play up there at Fenway. I don't know if it's the stadium itself or there's like folklore games up there. Just watching a game there is just special. It really is.
There's nothing like talking baseball on a Sunday morning in December. Once again, donations being accepted for the Toys for Tots drive at the Orange Lantern on East Firehouse Lane in Paramus. If you're in the area doing some Christmas shopping, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., you can drop your toys off. And again, orangelantern.com for all the information. Brian, thank you so much for joining us this morning here on the WDHA Jersey Magazine. Always good to catch up with you.
Thanks, Jim. Two of my favorite things, talking baseball and talking to Jim Monahan. Have a great morning, Jim.